2 months ago, I put out a video asking my subscribers, my fans, my viewers, literally everybody, to ask me a question. Well, you guys, guess what? 2 months later, I haven't made that video, and then the reason is simple. I use my phone has a storage space issue, so I don't batch create. So sometimes I want to make that video this week, and then another idea comes to mind. I'll be like, okay, I'll make that video next week, and just like that, that's how I kept postponing and postponing and postponing until a subscriber, Lily, I think her name, or his or her name, I think it's a woman anyways, Lily Casablanca, sent me a reminder that, oh, you've not done the question and answer video. I was like, oh, that's true, that's true. I have a lot of questions to respond to, and so that's why I am making this video. You guys should please forgive me for delaying this video, okay? And of course, like this video. I don't know, in the last video I told people to like, but a lot of people watched the video and they did not like. Please, I know the last time I checked, liking a video is free. Like, you don't pay, you don't do any sort of subscription. It takes less than a second just to click. So I don't know why I would say like and you not like. Please, if there's a reason why you did not like that video, or you plan not to like this one, please let me know in the comment section. But please, if there's no reason, please like the video. And of course, you always know I have my MacBook Pro here with me, because I don't have any other gadget I can be reading these questions from. So my MacBook Pro would help me. And of course, if you can't see a MacBook Pro, the joke's on you. So let's get started, because I feel like this video is going to be long. I don't want it to be oh I don't want it to be too long, okay? So let's get started with the very first question. So this first question goes, what is one high and one low of your journey so far? Okay, let me talk about the low first. One low is the fact that you can't take away the fact that there's so much uncertainty. Yeah. So if you came here as a student, you are worried, okay, after school, what next? Would I get a COS? Would I not get a COS? Okay, even if I don't get a COS, I still have 18 months on my post-study. So after my post-study, what if I still don't get a COS? So the uncertainty is a lot. And I said it here again that in another video, hopefully, I'll talk about like the new reforms, like the Reform Party. If the Reform Party wins, there are a lot of things they want to change with what's current. Like, they want to upturn the status quo. And trust me, if you're a student right now in the UK, you should be scared. But like I said, let us leave that up for another video, okay? So the uncertainty is one of the lowest points. And then the fact that, oh, the job hunting process is usually very tedious. The fact that you have to juggle school, you have to juggle classes, plus those uncertainties, okay? So that's low. So for me, a high moment is me being also optimistic, because if you are a Nigerian, you know that there are a lot of factors fighting against you, but somehow abroad it is limited. I would not say, of course, there are issues, especially with immigration issues, immigration laws and all, but at least when you put in the work in certain areas, you see the results. Unlike in Nigeria, where there's just a lot of hindrances to your progress and all of that. So here it's a little limited, but then again, there are challenges, okay? So my low point, uncertainties, high point is optimism, okay? Yeah. So second question, somebody said, how is it living with your housemates, especially sharing common spaces? Well, it's not easy, but everybody in this house is working class, so most times we don't even get to see ourselves, okay? So we take turns. Somebody asked that question too, but let me just answer it at once. We take turns to clean the house, but there's this flatmate who is always, when it's his turn, he's always having excuses, blah blah blah, and even when he cleans, he doesn't do it well. So it's just normal. It's just normal to have like very, housemates. But generally it is cool, because at least for four of us, the three of us are neat, organized, we clean when we ought to, and we do it well. So it's just one person that everybody in the house has to shout, has to argue, do before he does it. Yeah. So, but generally it's cool. It's an experience. So if I can afford like a 1 bedroom or a studio where I have all these things to myself, trust me, I'll do that. But for now, well, this is what I can afford, so I don't have a choice. So do you have a chore? Chore, CHOR is chore. Do you have a chore schedule? Yeah, I just said we take turns to clean every weekend. So my housemate is the one that doesn't like cleaning. It is turn this weekend. Hopefully he cleans it. Then after him, it's me. After me, it's my other Nigerian classmate, flatmate. After him, then the British flatmate. So we take turns every week to clean the house. So how did you decide on what you wanted to study, and what uni did you apply to? Well, I applied to Leeds Beckett University, obviously. And how did I decide? Well, I've always loved communication, and at some point I was going to do mass communication in my masters. So, but what I'm currently doing now is public relations and strategic communication. Like I said, the reason I applied to this course is because I love communication, I love to write, I love to speak, I love to, really be out there. And this particular course allows me to do all of those things and more, of course. Yeah, so I love the course and I am enjoying it. So, what is your ideal job given what you are studying? Well, there's a lot you can do. So, public relations has to do with managing brands, making, creating a favorable images for brands for the public. So, when you think about a brand, what comes to mind? Okay, so it's the job of a PR person to package this brand so that people have like positive reviews about this brand you get. So under PR, there's a lot you can do internal communication where you manage communication between members of staff. You can do corporate communication, you can do media relations, you can do social media management, you can do brand reputation, brand management. You can manage brands as organizations and manage brands as individuals. You can do even content creation is also part of public relations, and of course social media management, because we're in a digital age, of course, and a lot of brands, if not all of the brands, have social media channels, and managing these social media channels to ensure that when there's a crisis or any form of communication, it's still the PR people that try to manage it. So I am particularly interested in digital crisis communication, and that's like what I want to do for my masters. And if I get to do a PhD, hopefully, but if I get to do a PhD, digital crisis communication is something I want to look deep into, because like I said, this is 2025, it's the era of social media. Literally every human being on this earth like is on social media and interacting in one way or the other. So I just want to delve deep into the world of digital crisis communication. So I'll most likely work in an organization, in a communications department of an organization. I'll most likely also want to manage individuals or brands, you get. So basically there's just a lot I'm open to. But like I said, the most exciting thing about PR for me is digital crisis communication. This is what I'm doing for my dissertation. If I'm going to do a PhD, this is also what I am looking at. Okay. So somebody said, not sure if you have said it before, but what are you studying? Yeah, and what type of degree? Yeah, I've said it. Public relations and strategic communication, a master's degree. So please, will enrolling in a care, another person asked, please, will enrolling in a care training in Nigeria before traveling give you an edge when looking for care jobs in the UK? So I already responded to this person, but let me just say it again. Like, don't waste your money. Like this, I'm just speaking generally. It's possible that they have an affiliation, whatever, but don't waste your money. If you want to do any care training, come to the UK and do it, because a lot of those people know that you have not been to the UK. You don't know how things work here. So that's why when they tell you that, oh, you with this certificate from Nigeria, I just paid 200,000. The training here in the UK is almost like £200, if not more. So £200 in Naira is almost 400k. So imagine someone telling you to pay 200k to do a care. Are there care homes in Nigeria? No, there are peculiarities. So even if you've worked in a hospital, it's run differently from what we have in Nigeria. Is different, very different from what you have in the UK. So when you come here with zero experience, they still want to do some sort of training here for you. So don't go and waste your money doing any care training in Nigeria. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling market for them, but like I said, I'm speaking generally. It is possible. But to be honest, if you really want to be trained in care, come here where they have these care homes to do that training, okay? So somebody asked, what questions do employees normally ask during your interviews? Well, they ask a lot of situational, like I've attended a couple of interviews and the questions are similar. They ask a lot of situational questions. What would you do if? What would you do if? Tell me about a time that. Tell me about a time that. They always ask that questions regardless of the roles, okay? But one thing I want to tell you is, before attending any interview, try to read up the brand, try to read up the company. So recently, I attended an interview for a luxury jewelry brand. There's a video for it. I was going to post that video, but it's more than 3 minutes, so I can't post it as a short. I'll most likely split it into two and post it twice. So I went for an interview for a luxury jewelry company, and one of the questions they asked is, if you were to pick one of our brands for yourself, which one would you pick? You guys, guess what? So before I went for that interview, I read up about their brands, their bracelets, the kind of stuff jewelry they have, and I just mentioned one, and yeah, that was it. Well, I did not get the job anyways, but the point is, before you attend any interview, try to read up the company, try to read up the brand, because most likely they'll ask you one question about that brand, okay? And of course, a lot of situational analysis. Try to, if you're attending if you're attending an interview for a sales role, teaching assistant role, whatever role, try to create a lot of scenarios in your head, because they'll ask you what would how would you react if this happens? What if they'll create different scenario around your work environment, expecting to hear what you would say about that. Okay, so somebody asked, this question is very funny. They play. Do you plan on going home to visit before you are done with school, like for Christmas holiday? This question is funny, but not funny, because I know a lot of students who will still travel for Christmas. I don't have money. Kudi, and where may I go? I'm very broke. I don't get money. I don't even have money to see from. Not to talk of. Do you know how much flights? Do you know how much flight tickets is? Before Nigeria go see me, I got blow. I have to be very rich before Nigeria will see my foot, because you guys will not understand. I don't have money, okay? So more questions. So Elizabeth Jex asked a lot of questions. I think most of the questions she asked was when she was still in Nigeria, but now she's in the UK. So I deliberately skipped out some questions, like when she said, what kind do you need to pack a lot of clothes, because she's here already. But yeah, but let me just answer the question just in case some people are still planning to come. Of course, the January batch might be watching this video. Do you pack clothes? Do you pack food? Anyways, for me in a collab, it depends on what you have. So basically, something like this thick like, what do I call this now, turtleneck, whatever. Most of the clothes we wear in Nigeria are light, so if you're coming here, pack very few light clothes. If you don't have a lot of long sleeve thick cotton woolly clothes, just leave them, okay? Because you won't wear them when you come, especially if you're coming during winter time. It's during summer you can now start shopping for those light clothes, but to be honest, don't go and pack a lot of light clothes, because you will not wear them when the winter starts, okay? You wear thicker clothes on top, thicker clothes on top. That's how you're going to layer, okay? So come with a lot of food, because African foods are not smiling. You can't even, most people can't afford African food, so just try, okay? So somebody said, still Elizabeth, she asked a lot of questions, like I said. So she said, I'm aware that people have to share kitchen, fridge. Okay, I've answered that. So she said, okay, I've not really answered. She said, but I'm low-key concerned about the safety of oneself. Well, the thing is, create boundaries. For instance, I don't touch other people's things without their permission, so I expect you not to touch mine without my permission. So if I was going to use your stuff and you're not around, I'll just wait, or probably we have a WhatsApp group. I say, oh please, can I use your dryer, can I use your this, can I use, basically that's what I do. So it's also expected of them that when I'm not around, before you use my stuff, you ask me. You can't just open the fridge and see a food or whatever there and then you start using, except for things like plates, spoons. That one is normal, you just use it, you wash it and keep. But for instance, drinks, food, your cooking ingredients, okay, you have to ask, okay? Yeah. So about the safety, now God, the protect person because when you leave the house you don't know what happens, okay? So yeah. So somebody's Elizabeth still said, I also really want to know how you manage school with your part-time jobs. You guys, in that video where I did a day in my life as a student, I said I was going to rant. It's really not easy. Anyways, it's really not easy. You're going to school, you have to give both your all. You have to give work your all. You have to give school your all. You have to read. You have to do everything. Sorry, I was reading a message. So you have to give your food. You have to give everything your all. You have to give work. It's not easy. To be honest, I keep saying that if I was a nepo kid, I would not struggle about working. I would just do an internship. While I'm interning, I'm just going to school, and after school, that's when I can now properly look for a job and start working. But yeah, what to do? We're managing it, because eventually it is hard. But when you come, you'll not have a choice. Like Elizabeth, I hope you've started working anyways. But if you can see this video, tell me in the comment section if you have started working. But at this point, you don't have a choice. You have 20 hours. 20 hours. You can do it anyway. So somebody say, how can we stay sane in the UK even with all the stress? There's no hard and fast rules. Nobody stays sane here. There are some days you break down, some days you cry, some days you regret, some days you're like, what am I even doing here? Some days you're like, you're all pumped up, you're motivated. So there is no hard and fast rule. I cannot tell you that, oh, this is what you do to stay sane. This is what you, the only thing that can never make you stay sane is to lie on your bed and sleep. But if you lie on your bed and sleep, you have assignments to do, you have classes to attend, you have work to go to, you have a couple of other things, personal things to do. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. So somebody asked again, do you plan on visiting other UK or European countries? Plus how, okay, do I plan on visiting other? Yes, I do, but I need money to do that. So that's a long-term goal anyways. So I said I was going to, travel to another country to celebrate my 30th birthday, but let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes anyways. Yeah. Plus how easy it is being a student or Nigeria in terms of affordability and travel document. It's very expensive to come to the UK. Like, I mean, if you watch that video where I did like a breakdown of how much you spend from IHS to visa to school fees, living costs, everything, it's a lot, trust me. So by my calculation, it was around 50 something million naira. Okay, if you're going to do everything, if you're going to pay everything at once. So it's expensive, I must tell you. So it has to be worth it. So how do you dry your clothes after laundry? On my bed. So the winter is coming and I need to buy a dryer. I keep procrastinating, but I think I'll get a dryer soon. But my washing machine washes and dry. The washing machine in my house, not mine, washes and dry. So it doesn't dry completely, but at the same time, it doesn't drip water. It's moist. So when I spread it on my bed, I mostly wash on weekends. So when I spread it on my bed, I go for my grocery shopping or go for my Saturday runs as usual. So by the time I'm back, my clothes are dried. So it's not a lot. But winter is here now, which means that the clothes will take longer time to dry. So that means I have to get a hanger, and yeah, basically that's it. Do you see yourself settling down, as in getting married and having children in the UK? Yes and no. Having kids in the UK is not easy. A lot of people don't emphasize, they don't talk about it much, but I know from personal experience, having kids and raising kids in the UK is not easy. Because trust me, you are working, you will have to work full time, your spouse have to work full time. Because it's not a case of except you work remotely. Even if you work remotely, you still have to work full time. You need that money to care for those kids, and you can't leave. It's not like in Nigeria where you see parents lock children 7-8 years at home alone. You can't do that here. Provided they are minors, there has to be an adult supervising them. So imagine working full time, your other spouse working full time, and you still have kids to care for. You still have to wash their clothes. You still have to care for them, give them food, send them to school, prepare them. It's not easy. So yes and no. Yes, because maybe, like I said, okay, of course I will not have a lot of children. 1, 2 is okay, but if I have an option of going back to Nigeria to raise my kids with my family, yes, of course, that's also, I'm also considering that, because it's not easy here in the UK. So do you see yourself settling? Okay, I've answered that. Do you mostly cook Nigerian or English dishes? I cook Nigerian dishes 100%. I cannot. Which English dishes I may cook? I can't though. So somebody said, did you get a scholarship or paying out of pocket? Of course, I am paying out. But by now you must have gotten the answer, because I already filmed that video where I showed you, or I talked about completing my school fees. So yeah, I am paying out of pocket. So that's the last question. Anyway. So yeah, if you have any more question, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, because I also made another post some days ago asking. So just in case you have more questions, please ask, so that I can add it to these ones and answer. But apparently y'all don't have any question for me. So yes, so this is the end of this video. Hopefully you don't have any question, but if you do, like I said, leave them for your chest. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming to this episode of my video. I hope you loved it. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, I will see you in the next one. But please like this video. Please give this video a thumbs up. That's all I'm asking. Anyways, okay? Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!